visit a Spectrum store today.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Good morning, I'm Bree Driscoll, and here's your Spectrum News in 90. A deadly tornado outbreak in the middle of the night. More than a dozen were reported as storms stretched from Texas to Michigan. Homes and buildings were damaged or destroyed, and several people had to be rescued. We'll have more on the storm and a multi-day flood threat. That's coming up in our Weather on the Ones. World leaders are condemning President Donald Trump's new tariffs. Global markets falling overnight, sparking fears about the economy. 185 countries will face tariffs of at least 10% on almost all incoming goods. China feeling the brunt of it with a whopping 34% tax on imports. The European Union is preparing to retaliate over its 20% duty.
The consequences will be dire for millions of people around the globe. Also for the most vulnerable countries, which are now subject to some of the highest U.S. tariffs.
And Elon Musk's time in Washington could be winding down. He could reportedly be stepping down from his role at Doge in the coming weeks. Though both Musk and President Trump say he will not be leaving public service until his work is complete. And that's your Spectrum News in 90.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Weather on the Ones forecast. Another warm day across the southeastern portions of the United States, with temperatures running above the average in the middle and upper 80s to near 90 in a few communities that were much cooler on the backside of yesterday's storm system that brought us several strong tornadoes. And that threat for flash flooding is going to increase as we get towards the end of the week, along with another risk for some severe weather. We're going to break down those details coming up in 10 minutes on your Weather on the Ones.
A global trade war heats up as a once-in-a-generation storm stretches nearly 700 miles. Hello, everyone. I'm Bree Driscoll, and thanks so much for joining us here on Spectrum News. Today is Thursday, April 3rd, and we have a busy morning of news ahead. We'll have more on how stocks and world leaders are reacting to President Donald Trump's new tariffs in a moment. But first, breaking news overnight. A rare and destructive tornado outbreak has millions of Americans on alert. Right now, the severe weather threat stretches from Texas to Michigan. We're already hearing about several deaths, rescues, and power outages, and we're seeing baseball-sized hail and relentless rain that could last for days. Our team coverage begins with Spectrum's Jenna Enoch. Jenna.
Bree, this line of storms is incredibly rare, prompting a 5 out of 5 severe weather outlook to be issued. I want you to take a look at this video from Arkansas. It shows a large funnel cloud right beyond the trees. You can see lights flashing, possibly from electric transformers. And more video showing a tornado touching down in Arkansas. In Oklahoma, trees were knocked onto homes and buildings were knocked to the ground. Intense and violent tornadoes destroyed homes and farms in Missouri and Arkansas, also toppling a radio tower over in Indiana. Bree?
And Jenna, a warehouse collapsed in Indiana. I understand people were stuck inside when this happened.
There were people inside, and 3 people were rescued from the partially collapsed warehouse in Brownsburg, Indiana. The winds were so strong they also toppled over a train in Missouri. Now hundreds of thousands of people are without power across Indiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Missouri. Forecasters say this violent weather came from daytime heat combined with an unstable atmosphere. Bree, back to you.
Jenny Enoch, thank you very much, Jenna. Meteorologist Ramel Carpenter is tracking the flooding threat. Ramel, how long is this rain going to last?
Unfortunately, Bree, this rain is going to be with us for the rest of this week into this upcoming weekend, so we are just getting started with this storm system. We had that front work its way across this area, and it's going to start to switch and work its way to the west, and it's going to stall out as a result of that. And we have flash flood watches in effect stretching from Indiana, the Ohio Valley, all the way down into portions of Mississippi and Arkansas, which are areas that were just struck with yesterday's severe weather risk. And unfortunately, that severe weather risk is also going to be sticking with us as this front taps into some of that moisture coming in from the Gulf. So here is our setup. We've got high pressure off the southeastern coast. This front is going to hang out with us all the way into this upcoming weekend, and the heaviest rainfall is going to be focused right along that boundary. So western Kentucky, western Tennessee, all the way down into Arkansas and Mississippi is where we're expecting some of the higher rainfall totals. And this rain isn't going to be with us at every hour, but we're expecting multiple rounds each evening that will bring down around 8 to 12 inches, locally higher in some of those communities as well. And you'll see the latest model guidance is hinting at around 3 to 5 inches across the Ohio Valley down into western Kentucky. We could see some isolated rainfall totals in that 8 to 12 inch range, and that pushes down into portions of Arkansas and down into eastern Texas as well. And with severe thunderstorms on the cards as well, we could easily get some heavy rainfall that could bring us down 2 to 3 inches in as little as an hour, Bree. So definitely stay weather aware. Make sure you have multiple ways of receiving severe weather alerts as we head into this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, some smart advice. Ramel, thank you. And we'll have more on the storm coming up in our Weather on the Ones. Also overnight, China and Europe are condemning President Donald Trump's new tariffs. The president is defending the duties on 185 nations, which range from 10 to 50%. Stock futures are down, and experts warn the move could hurt the global economy. Spectrum's Angie Gonzalez joins us now from Washington with more. Angie, what is the reaction from world leaders?
Well, it's not good, Bree. Right now, China, the world's second largest economy in the world, a big trading partner for the U.S., urging the Trump administration to immediately cancel the reciprocal tariffs on its country. They were pretty steep, an additional 34% over what was already in place. Now, markets in Asia and Europe tumbled in Thursday morning trading. China's Ministry of Commerce says it's going to be taking countermeasures, though exactly what they're going to be doing is still not clear. Now, President Trump's announcement also drew a sharp rebuke from the European Union, which got hit with a 20% tax. The EU's Commission president says they are finalizing their first package of countermeasures to respond. Now, Bree, the president's announcement comes after U.S. markets closed on Wednesday, so we're going to be watching to see exactly what happens with U.S. trading when things open up this morning. Back to you.
Yeah, certainly keeping a close eye on that. And Angie, what's President Trump's reasoning for pursuing these tariffs?
Well, his argument is that these tariffs are simply a response to years of unfair trading practices on U.S. products that are shipped across the globe. But Democrats say that the move's going to do nothing more than raise prices for American consumers.
This will be an entirely different country in a short period of time. It'll be something the whole world will be talking about.
This is not Liberation Day, it's Recession Day in the United States of America. That's what the Trump tariffs are going to do, crash the economy.
Now, Bree, also happening today, don't forget those tariffs on all auto imports. That begins today. Next month, we're also going to see tariffs on new auto part imports begin as well. Back to you.
All right, Angie Gonzalez. Thank you very much, Angie. So the key question you might be asking is, how do these tariffs impact me? Well, here's the breakdown. Most economists predict businesses will pass on some or all of the cost to consumers, resulting in higher prices. Experts warn it could trigger an economic slowdown. JP Morgan predicts a global recession if Trump maintains his tariffs. Retirement funds and interest rates could take a hit. But there is a silver lining, which Trump has been pushing: growth for domestic manufacturers. A scare on an American Airlines flight, why passengers were forced to crawl out onto the wing. That's coming up right here on Spectrum News.
Weather can be beautiful, inconvenient, and at times powerful. And it affects everything we do. At Spectrum News Plus, our weather experts update you with the information and the context you need so you can better plan your day. And we do it every 10 minutes. We're the calm in the storm. Weather on the Ones on Spectrum News Plus, exclusively on Spectrum. And get your weather anytime on the Spectrum News app.
Bring it to the party, bring it to the top, bring it to the party.
Enjoy, unwind, connect with Spectrum TV On Demand. From the latest hit movies you've been waiting to watch to your favorite comfort shows and more, all available instantly for you to stream. Create the all-around entertainment experience you've always wanted with Spectrum TV On Demand. Browse over 80,000 on-demand titles today.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your weather on the Ones forecast. It certainly was an active day in the weather department, especially in the central United States, where we had a level 5 high risk for severe weather that led to a few strong, violent tornadoes like we're seeing in this video. Large wedge tornado in Lake City, Arkansas. I can see the power flashes associated with this as well. And this is one of many strong tornadoes that we had with yesterday's setup, and it was primarily across the central United States. And over the last 24 hours, you can see the storm reports stretching from Michigan down through the Ohio Valley with damaging winds, and plenty of tornado reports for that matter as well across western Kentucky, western Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, and even into Oklahoma yesterday. And the National Weather Service teams will be out to survey some of that damage, which is pretty extensive in some of those communities through the first half of the day today. And this was all set up with a frontal system that is actually going to be stalling out, bringing some heavy rainfall from the Ohio Valley all the way down into Arkansas and portions of Mississippi as well. And as the system stalls out, this is going to keep that elevated risk for severe thunderstorms, but more importantly also lead to the threat for flash flooding in many of these communities. So we are just getting started with this setup, unfortunately, and you'll notice today's severe weather threat is going to be focused across Arkansas and into portions of Tennessee and Mississippi as well with a level 3 enhanced risk. So that risk isn't as high as yesterday, but it still is a pretty significant risk nonetheless. And this is going to be with us for the next couple of days. This is Friday's risk, and it is in a similar location once again across the Arkansas region, portions of western Tennessee and Kentucky, down into the far eastern portions of Texas as well. And that threat starts to shift more towards the southern portions of Arkansas into Louisiana and Mississippi as we transition into our Saturday. So this stalled boundary is really going to be with us for the next couple of days into this upcoming weekend. And with that stalled boundary sticking around, we're expecting multiple rounds of heavy rainfall, which is why we have flash flood threats all the way down to portions of Arkansas into Mississippi as well in as far north as the Ohio Valley. We're expecting several inches of rainfall, and we'll talk about that in more detail coming up in 10 minutes.
Here's a look at what you need to know. A deadly tornado outbreak in the middle of the night. Homes and buildings were damaged or destroyed. Several people are dead, and there's now concerns about relentless rain. World leaders are condemning President Donald Trump's new tariffs. Global markets falling overnight, sparking fears about the economy. 185 countries will face tariffs of at least 10% on almost all incoming goods. And Elon Musk could reportedly be stepping down from his role at Doge in the coming weeks, though both Musk and President Trump say he will not leave public service until his work is to complete. And that's a look at what you need to know this morning. A A scare on an American Airlines flight from Charlotte to Georgia. Take a look at this video. Passengers were forced to walk out onto the wing of the plane to get to safety. The crew of American Eagle Flight 5406 noticed haze filling the cabin and asked everyone on board to safely evacuate. Some were even spotted carrying their luggage. The airline says the plane experienced a maintenance issue. Air traffic controllers at Ronald Reagan National Airport are getting more help. The Federal Aviation Administration says staff will be offered crisis counseling and additional supervision. Now, it comes less than a week after a fight between two workers and nearly 3 months after a passenger jet and Army helicopter collided. The FAA is also reviewing the arrival rates of planes. New information now on the death toll from that powerful earthquake in Asia. More than 3,000 people have died in Myanmar and Thailand. Experts warn the true death toll will rise higher as rescue operations continue. The 7.7 magnitude quake destroyed hundreds of buildings, including one high-rise in Bangkok that left 15 dead. Elon Musk could reportedly be taking a step back from his role at Doge in the coming weeks. As Spectrum's Ariel Wessler reports, the news comes during a turbulent time at Tesla.
Billionaire Elon Musk and President Donald Trump have recently suggested Musk's time in the Trump administration may be coming to a close. But Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, says Musk will depart when his work is complete. Musk calling the report of his early departure fake news.
At some point, he's going to be going back. He wants to.
But you want to keep him around?
I'd keep him as long as I could keep him.
Trump says Musk will leave his administration in the coming months, putting the future of Doge in question.
You know, at a certain point, I think it will end.
There are signs things are already winding down. Doge employees have been shifted to various federal agencies, which are supposed to take the lead on cutting costs. So far, more than 121,000 workers have been fired from federal agencies since the start of Trump's second term. Musk would return to his other ventures, leading SpaceX and Tesla, where sales plunged 13% in the first quarter of the year, the biggest decline in the company's history. Experts say backlash against Musk's political views, as well as growing competition in the EV market, have dropped demand for the once coveted cars.
Let's push Elon out the door!
Meanwhile, protesters have been rallying outside Tesla dealerships across the country.
I'm an economist, and this is not about efficiency. This is about reducing efficiency.
While they're meant to be peaceful, they come as violent attacks on Tesla vehicles and facilities in the U.S. and Europe have surged. Cars and charging stations set on fire. The FBI has even stepped in to help crack down on the violent attacks.
These are terrorists.
The White House did not disclose a clear timeline for shutting down Doge, but it was originally meant to operate until July 4th of next year.
Another push by the president to increase immigration enforcement. FEMA funds that provide housing and other aid to migrants could be redirected to detain migrants. It's reportedly being discussed by Homeland Security officials. The Shelter and Services Program was established in 2019 to help cities sheltering migrants. Earlier this week, FEMA notified recipients that grants were being terminated. A final decision has not yet been made. Some good news about breakfast. Eggs are getting cheaper. According to the Department of Agriculture, the price of wholesale eggs fell to $3 a dozen last week. That's a 9% drop over last week. But you won't see prices go down right away. The department says it will be another few weeks before prices drop at the grocery store. In February, the price of a dozen eggs hit a 10-year high, selling for a whopping $5.90. The measles outbreak is spreading to more states across the country, so how contagious is it? Wait until you hear how long it stays in the air. That's just ahead, right here on Spectrum News.
Spectrum News Plus. News from a new perspective, dedicated to refreshing storytelling and empowering communities across the nation. With balanced reporting, providing real context and in-depth coverage 24 hours a day.
Here's a look at your forecast across the country.
Local stories, connecting communities. We are Spectrum News Plus. Streaming now on the Spectrum News app and free with your Spectrum subscription.
Have you seen my phone?
Yeah, it's with mine.
What's going on here, buddy?
I'm becoming a Kung Fu master.
Huh.
We have to pass this wireless speeds, right?
Yeah, we've got Spectrum.
Well, I used it to absorb hundreds of years of Kung Fu knowledge in like 20 minutes.
I don't think it works that way.
Oh, it does. Hey, what's our nunchuck situation? Don't worry, I'll go find some.
Master anything with the fastest wireless speeds. And internet customers get one mobile line included for 12 months with Spectrum.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Ramel Carpenter with your Weather on the Ones forecast. As we close out the work and school week and head into this upcoming weekend, we're going to have a serious risk for flash flooding across the central portions of the country. And this is as a result of that stalled boundary that's going to be with us over the next few days. It's also going to bring us another round of severe thunderstorms over the next few days in some of those same communities that were just struck with yesterday's severe weather outbreak. And across the southeastern United States, we're staying pretty dry and quiet with warm temperatures and potential record-breaking highs as we head into the afternoon hours today. We'll be in the middle and upper 80s in the southeastern portions of the country, 85 in New Orleans, 86 in Atlanta, and we'll be in the low 90s across the Sunshine State. But after yesterday's storm system, we're much cooler on the backside of it, with highs dropping down into the upper 50s in a place like Kansas City. But of course, the big talking point is going to be the severe weather system that continues to work its way eastward, but it is set to stall out across Ohio into western Kentucky, Tennessee, and this is going to lead us to several rounds of heavy rainfall over the next few days, which brings us that moderate risk for excessive rainfall through at least Friday morning, stretching from southern Illinois, Missouri, down into Arkansas as well, where we have that risk for severe thunderstorms throughout the day today. Transitioning into Friday, that risk upgrades to a high risk across the Memphis area and western Tennessee, western Kentucky, similar areas that were just struck with yesterday's severe thunderstorms and strong tornadoes. So this is certainly not ideal by any means, and as a result of the multiple rounds of rain we're expecting, we're going to have flash flood watches from the Ohio Valley all the way down into Arkansas, northern Mississippi through at least Sunday morning. So the next few days will be quite active in this part of the country. And watch what happens with Futurecast. We're going to see the stalled boundary bring us more rounds of heavy rainfall as it taps into that moisture coming in from the Gulf, and we'll see periods of heavy rain and some severe thunderstorms in western Kentucky, Tennessee, down into portions of the Ohio Valley as well, and this carries over into Friday morning. For your Friday morning commute, it is going to be an absolute mess. Make sure you're paying very close attention to some of the roadways out there, because I believe we will see some flooded roads as a result of this storm system. Friday evening, if you have Friday evening plans, definitely keep that in mind as well, and this rain is going to be off and on all the way into this upcoming weekend, and as a result of that, we're expecting anywhere between 8 to 12 plus inches of rainfall, especially in some of those areas in darker red here, where we could easily see up to 15 inches of rainfall over a 3-day period on top of what we've already picked up. So make sure you're staying weather aware over the next several days, have multiple ways of receiving severe weather alerts, and pay very close attention to the roadways as we head into this upcoming weekend.
Amazon is submitting a bid to buy TikTok as the app faces a potential ban on Saturday. A Trump administration official says a letter was sent to Vice President J.D. Vance and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. This comes as President Trump was set to meet with senior officials to discuss the app's sale deadline just yesterday. The Supreme Court says flavored vape products can stay off the market. The nation's highest court sided with the Food and Drug Administration yesterday. The agency refused to approve vape products with fruity or dessert-flavored cartridges, citing the risk to children. But the victory may be short-lived, as the decision can be appealed. It also doesn't prevent vaping companies from rebranding or reapplying for FDA approval. There are now 19 states with confirmed measles cases connected to at least 3 outbreaks. Experts point to a decline in vaccination rates as the cause. Spectrum News national health reporter Aaron Billups joins us now with the latest on the measles. Aaron, this isn't just something we're seeing here in the United States. We're seeing it in other countries as well.
Yeah, that's right, Bree. Actually, 2024 saw the highest amount of measles cases in Europe since the mid-90s. There are also active outbreaks in World Health regions. The Mediterranean, Europe, and Southeast Asia have the highest number of cases. And what we're seeing here in the U.S. are imported cases. Americans who were not immunized against measles traveled and brought cases from other parts of the world here. The total here, as of the most recent CDC count, are 483 confirmed cases. 75% are among those under 19 years old. Most adults have lifelong immunity against measles from the vaccine. The current outbreaks are being driven mainly by undervaccinated or unvaccinated children and teens.
And Aaron, you know, we know that this has been circulating a lot, and it is deadly. We've seen 2 deaths here in the United States. Can you paint a picture of just how infectious this disease is?
Yeah, it's one of the most infectious diseases that we have come in contact with here in the United States. The elevator analogy. So if you are sick with the measles and you walk into an elevator and you sneeze and then you leave, that virus that you've left behind stays there for at least 2 hours. And then if an unvaccinated person walks into that elevator, they have a 90% chance of getting sick from the measles. And
wow, those numbers are really significant.
Yeah, I mean, it's worse than what we know of to be the infectiousness of the coronavirus and the flu. So it's really important to get vaccinated. And what we're hearing is that the numbers that are confirmed and reported are likely a lot lower than what's actually out there because of that infectiousness. I spoke with Dr. Jennifer Duchan about this. Listen to what she had to say.
People who don't vaccinate also often don't seek medical care if they suspect their children have the disease. So we assume that there was a proportion of kids or adults who just were sick at home and didn't go to the doctor because they didn't have symptoms that they felt needed medical care. Or in some cases, they were maybe afraid of repercussions.
And we keep seeing the number of confirmed cases continues to rise. Is there an end in sight?
Yeah, so Dr. Duchan says when there is lower immunity for measles, these outbreaks tend to last between 6 to 9 months. So that's probably what we're going to see here. And if you looked at past outbreaks, it takes about a 6-month cycle.
Great information. Thank you very much, Aaron Billups.
Thank you.
In other health news, the Food and Drug Administration reportedly delays approval of a new COVID-19 vaccine. The Novavax vaccine was on track for clearance last week, but sources tell CNN the FDA wants more data on the vaccine. Several days ago, the FDA's top vaccine official resigned, citing what he called concerning efforts to focus on the adverse health effects of vaccination. If the FDA signs off, the vaccine would be the third against COVID to receive full approval. And you can always stay connected with us here at Spectrum News by getting your national and local headlines on the go. Just download the free Spectrum News app. It's available in the App Store and on Google Play. I'm Bree Driscoll. Thanks so much for watching. Your Spectrum News in 90 is coming up right after this short break. Stay with us.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
It's game time at the arena and 20,000 fans are looking for a win. With an ultra-high-speed network and seamless Wi-Fi, fans can get in the door fast and share the game's best moments in real time. And with Spectrum Business committed to keeping them connected 100% of the time, they won't miss a second of the action. A secure, reliable connection from Spectrum Business means the fan experience is a guaranteed win.
Sometimes in life, in order to move forward, it helps to look back. To learn from the pioneers and trailblazers.
To gain inspiration from those who came before us.
To show us what it means to act with empathy and to show that love has no labels.
Join WWE and Love Has No Labels throughout the year in celebrating people from all communities and heritages.
Because when love has no labels, that's a love we can all fight for.
Women are bad with money. That's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now we've got something to say.
Save it. It's time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Until we're no longer 80% more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
Save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault.
Then, the funds. Learn how to save for your retirement at WeSaySaveIt.org.